ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਆਗੂ ਜਗਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਕਰੋਨਾ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਕਾਰਨ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵਿਤ ਛੋਟੇ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਲਈ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਚੁੱਕ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਮੁੱਖ ਰੱਖਦਿਆਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਰਚੁਅਲ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਛੋਟੇ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸੰਘੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਡਾਕਟਰੀ ਸਹਾਇਤਾ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਮਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ C7 ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਪ੍ਰਤੀਕਿਰਿਆ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ।
Today, I want to start off by talking about the plan that we released last week around small businesses. In this pandemic, we know that big box stores, big banks were very successful. Many of them posted massive profits. In fact, some posted record profits. And the Liberal government jumped to help big banks, for example, with massive and substantial investments right away to help out big banks. They didn't do the same thing to help out small business, and people were worried. So we put forward a plan to specifically help small businesses with a couple of really important measures. We laid out we would continue the existing supports, and we called for that to continue for as long as we're in the pandemic, at least with the wage subsidy and rent subsidy. Increases to support those sectors that are specifically and hard hit, like the tourism and travel and festival, those sectors. And we also included two additional measures. One is to put a cap on credit card fees. These credit card fees can be upwards of 2%, 3%. We would put a cap of 1%. Something other countries have done that would significantly help out small businesses with one of their fixed costs. And then finally, we want to encourage small businesses that want to rehire their employees that they had to let go of, or hire new employees with a plan to cover the EI and CPP contributions at the federal level to provide an incentive and encouragement. We also know in general that small businesses would also benefit tremendously from having affordable housing for their workers, so their workers could live in the same communities. We've heard lots of concern from chambers of commerce about people not being able to afford to live in the communities where they want them to work or they have a job available. Also, that universal pharmacare would significantly help small businesses. Many of the owners themselves don't have coverage, but also for their employees. So these are some of the measures that we talked about last week in our announcement to help small businesses. And I think it's vital, particularly given how there seems to be a big focus on big business, but there's been an ignoring of the plight and the struggles of small businesses. Donc, la semaine passée, on a proposé notre plan pour aider les petites entreprises en reconnaissant le fait que les grandes entreprises, les grands magasins, ils ont eu des grands profits. Quelques exemples ont eu des profits records pendant ces pandémies. Et le gouvernement libéral a réagi rapidement pour aider les grandes banques.
ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਨੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਅੰਦਰ ਕਰੋਨਾ ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਪ੍ਰਕਿਰਿਆ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ 4 ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਅੰਦਰ ਮਨਜ਼ੂਰ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਕੁੱਲ 10 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਖੁਰਾਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਪਲਾਈ ਹੋਈ। ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਡੋਜ਼ ਇਸ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਮਿਲਣ ਦੀ ਉਮੀਦ ਹੈ। ਟਰੂਡੋ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਵਿਸ਼ਵ ਭਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰੋਨਾ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਕਾਰਨ 25 ਲੱਖ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ 22,000 ਮੌਤਾਂ ਇਕੱਲੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਨੇ।
Right now, across the country, we're getting vaccines to Canadians. We now have 4 vaccines approved by independent regulators in Canada, more than any other country. Again, you can count on the fact that any vaccine approved in Canada is both safe and effective. Last week, we received almost 1 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines. This week, we're getting another million. And before the end of this month, we will have received a total of 8 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines. On the 500,000 AstraZeneca vaccine doses delivered from the Serum Institute last week, these shots are being distributed to provinces as we speak. More and more people are getting vaccinated every day. That means more grandparents, healthcare workers, and vulnerable people are now safer. Our top priority is to get you your shot as soon as possible. No one will be left behind. Just take Myrtle from Kanawake, Quebec. She's 90 years old and was the first elderly person living at home in Kanawake to receive a vaccine. For Myrtle and her family, getting her shot was a big moment because now she'll be able to tell her sons who call every Sunday that she is safer. Deputy Prime Minister Freeland announced the creation of the Task Force on Women in the Economy. This 18-member task force, from CEOs and childcare advocates to labor representatives, economists, and Indigenous leaders, will advise the government on continuing to advance gender equality in the wake of the pandemic. We need to rebuild an economy that's fair for everyone. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Of course, this is just one part of the equation. After all, it's almost impossible to get, let alone keep, a good job without a roof over your head. Everyone deserves a safe and affordable place to call home. Yesterday, the federal government partnered with the government of British Columbia to announce a $517 million housing benefit investment over 10 years. This is part of our $2 billion commitment to the Canada Housing Benefit to support families right across the country. For more than 25,000 households in BC,
ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਚੀਫ ਮੈਡੀਕਲ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਥੈਰੇਸਾ ਨੇ ਮੁਲਕ ਅੰਦਰ ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਦੇ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਅੰਕੜਿਆਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਅੰਦਰ ਕੁੱਲ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਮਰੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ 8,90,698 ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਸ ਅਲਾਮਤ ਨਾਲ ਮਰਨ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ 22,276 ਉੱਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ।
To date, there have been 890,698 cases of COVID-19 in Canada, including 22,276 deaths. There are now over 30,300 active cases across the country. Over the past week, an average of over 2,900 new cases and 37 deaths were reported daily. During the same time period, over 2,080 people with COVID-19 were being treated in our hospitals each day, including almost 550 in critical care. This weekend, as I reflected on the week ahead, I felt a mix of emotions that I'm sure most of us are feeling in one form or another. First, in looking back at the year behind us, it is a time of solemn remembrance of the cherished lives we have lost. At the same time, it is clear that our work is not done. To honor the memories of those we have lost and appreciate the progress that our sacrifice has afforded us, it is time to pause to remember, gather our strength, and commit to our future by sustaining our efforts until the crisis phase of the COVID-19 pandemic is behind us. In remembrance, the Government of Canada has designated this Thursday, March the 11th, 2021, as a National Day of Observance to commemorate those who lost their lives and the significant impacts we have all endured because of COVID-19. As we reflect, it is also a time for great hope, given many important advancements. Not only have we all learned about the public health measures and individual precautions that work to reduce the spread of rapidly spreading respiratory diseases like COVID-19, but our efforts have held the force of infection at bay long enough to buy time for research on vaccines and treatments. It would be very easy to take for granted the incredible worldwide and population-wide effort that has brought us not one, but multiple safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines. In fact, the timeliness, safety, and effectiveness of these vaccines was not a given. And I would say it has in many ways exceeded the hopes we dared to have a year ago.
ਕੋਵਿਡ ਮਹਾਮਾਰੀ ਕਾਰਨ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹਰੇਕ ਵਰਗ ਅਤੇ ਹਰੇਕ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵਿਤ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੇ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਭਰਪਾਈ ਦੀਆਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ਾਂ ਵੀ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਜਿਸ ਤਹਿਤ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਜੌਨ ਹਾਲਗਰ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਅੰਦਰ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਮਹਾਮਾਰੀ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਆਵਾਜਾਈ ਸੈਕਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਰਥਨ ਦੇਣ ਦੇ ਉਦੇਸ਼ ਲਈ ਫੰਡ ਦਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਐਲਾਨ ਦੇ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਇੰਟਰਸਿਟੀ ਬੱਸ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਵਿਲਸਨ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਦੇ ਚੇਅਰਮੈਨ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੋਏ।
John Wilson, the president of and CEO of Wilson's Transport and many, many other things, but a local here on Vancouver Island, as well as Heather Bell in Vancouver. I want to thank, firstly, Heather and John for the work that they do with their companies and with the association to keep people moving. Critically, through COVID-19, we've had challenges about staying in place, and we've also had challenges about keeping contact at the same time. And although we see light at the end of the tunnel, we're encouraged by a whole host of initiatives, a reduction in the anxiety, broadly speaking, across BC. We also have some serious work to do, and I want to thank Heather and John for stepping up with us today as we talk about those challenges. As people have been staying close to home, that has had, of course, a profound impact on our inner-city transportation network that we put in place when Greyhound vacated the field some years ago. And I want to thank Wilson's as well as the others who have been providing transportation alternatives to people living in rural and remote parts of British Columbia. These operators have seen a drastic decline in their revenues as a result of people staying in place, but they've stayed in place themselves. They've hung in for the interest of the people in the region and the interest of British Columbia. The intercity bus operators and regional airports, of course, are particularly hard hit at this time, and they're absolutely resilient in their efforts to stay in place. And of course, we're going to need them as we come out of the challenges ahead of us. They've been connecting communities, they've been connecting people, and most importantly, they've been moving critical goods and services between communities across British Columbia. And that's why today, Rob and I are very pleased to announce that these essential transportation operators will be getting a little bit of help from the province of British Columbia. With respect to the intercity bus operators, our government is providing $10.7 million in operating grants to help them stay open and operating as we come out of the pandemic into the summer and into the fall. With respect to regional airports that provide medical evacuations and other important essential services to people in rural and remote parts of BC, we're providing $16.5 million in operating grants so we can maintain terminals, runways, and other operations at these critical pieces of infrastructure. In total, $27 million to help these critical operators stay in place. I'm going to ask John to step up and talk about how this will affect his company and intercity travel. And later we'll have Heather have a few words to say about how this will affect airports across British Columbia. But I want to put this in some context. You'll remember that earlier in the pandemic, working with the federal government, we were able to find $1 billion for BC Transit, TransLink, and BC Ferries. Critically important pieces of transportation infrastructure, but not the whole game. Were it not for our regional airports, were it not for the intercity bus services that John and other companies provide, massive parts of British Columbia would have been left without any hope. I want to thank those companies for staying in place, and I'm hopeful that this contribution today will help them get through the next number of months as we build recovery that will keep everyone in mind as we go into the fall and into 2022.
ਇੰਟਰਸਿਟੀ ਬੱਸ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਵਿਲਸਨ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਦੇ CEO ਜੌਨ ਵਿਲਸਨ ਨੇ ਸੰਬੋਧਨ ਕਰਦਿਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਹੌਲਗਨ ਦਾ ਇਸ ਐਲਾਨ ਲਈ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕੀਤਾ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਐਲਾਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੰਟਰਸਿਟੀ ਬੱਸ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਅਤੇ ਆਵਾਜਾਈ ਸੈਕਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਚੰਗਾ ਹੁੰਗਾਰਾ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ। ਵਿਲਸਨ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਮਹਾਮਾਰੀ ਕਾਰਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਚੁਣੌਤੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਸਾਹਮਣਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ।
Premier Horgan, and thank you to both yourself and Minister Fleming for having me here today for this exciting announcement. Today is filled with a sense of overwhelming gratitude and relief, both for the intercity ground transportation sector across the province, but more importantly for the members of our rural, remote, and Indigenous communities that rely on these services. Next week will mark 1 year since our family business, much like many other businesses across British Columbia, had to make some of the most incredibly difficult decisions surrounding our operations due to the growing COVID-19 crisis. Throughout this pandemic, I have often referred to the quote, "We may be all in the same storm, but we're all in different sized boats." My team and I have worked tremendously hard in the advocacy efforts to shed light on the devastating losses that has left many in the ground transportation sector drowning. Today's grant announcement is the life raft many of us in our industry have been hoping for. The intercity bus sector is one of Canada's oldest, most affordable, and reliable modes of transportation. These privately owned businesses provide an essential, safe mode of transportation, especially for those living in rural areas across the province. At Wilson's, we know how important our services are to Island First Nations and other communities. We also know the devastating effects the loss of a service like ours can have, which is why our announcement in January to suspend service indefinitely was not a decision that was made lightly and has weighed heavily on our team since. With this announcement of this grant, I'm pleased to say that we will be looking at restarting services in the coming weeks to ensure Vancouver Island once again has the connectivity that so many members of the communities need. In closing, I would like to thank each and every one of you that have shown their support to our family and our business during this incredibly difficult time. The support from all over Vancouver Island, British Columbia, and beyond has been heartwarming, and we would not be here where we are today without you. I would also like to thank again Premier Horgan, Minister Fleming, and his team at the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure for listening to the people of British Columbia and stepping up to help save these essential services. We look forward to continuing to serve the communities of British Columbia for many more years to come. Thank you.
ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਸਾਊਥ ਤੋਂ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਸੋਨੀਆ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਨੇ ਹਾਊਸ ਆਫ ਕਾਮਨਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਮਕਾਜੀ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਲਈ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਾਹ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਰੁਕਾਵਟਾਂ ਤੇ ਚੁਣੌਤੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਕੀਤਾ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਵਾਲ ਵੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਰਕ ਪਲੇਸ ਅਤੇ ਸਮਾਜਿਕ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਣ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਖਾਵਾਂ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਉਪਰਾਲੇ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ।
Brampton South.
Mr. Speaker, happy International Women's Day. Today we celebrate the contribution of all women, especially entrepreneurs and leaders within our communities. In my riding of Brampton South, I would like to thank women driving the feminist recovery, small business owners like Mary from Christina Strochina and Dupinder from Freshie, Parveen Rashid, Swati Tucker, Balbir Mali, Maninder and Mandi for doing charity work in Brampton, Melanie Campbell from Startup Hill, and many more. Women like Susie Godfrey from Downtown Business Association helped Brampton business throughout the pandemic. Today we celebrated women like them. But Mr. Speaker, we must continue to dismantle the barriers for women and work together. Initiatives like GBA+, pay equity, women's entrepreneur strategy will encourage the economic participation of women in the workforce. Together, we can uplift women within our communities and further Canada's journey towards gender equality. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.